Oh, there, I'm in the center. Hi, it's Carolyn, the contest queen, and I am live. This is my monthly sweepstakes Q&A, and I want to talk about some stuff that's been going on. Because if you've been following me, you know that this is the end of my 20th sweepstakes anniversary. I know, right? I can't believe I have been entering sweepstakes as a hobby for 20 years. And I've been teaching sweepstakes for 16. So I guess I'll have to have another anniversary celebration in 4 years. More prizes. And it's a lot of fun, but it's interesting because as a sweepstakes host this last month, I was trying some new things for me, and oh my gosh, I learned a lot. So that's what I want to talk about tonight, besides answering your regular sweepstakes questions. Beverly had sent in the questions. She wanted to know where Twitter notifications were, but I can't show her because I'm on my phone. I have it to my right, and I have TikTok Live. So wherever you are, if you have a question about sweepstakes, contest, giveaways, anything around those areas, I'm happy to answer them. But we do have a virtual contest club meeting on Thursday. So I will show Beverly there because she's already signed up for it. And it'll be easier because I'm only on Zoom and I'll have my phone available and I'll be able to show her there and anybody else that has any questions regarding that. But what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to just get my tea. I have a very tiny desk, so I had to have it off to the side. Oh, there's nothing like a hot cup of tea. So what I want to talk about is actually being a sweepstakes host this month. The reason I took advantage of the fact I was hosting 20 giveaways, and I wanted to increase my knowledge as a sweepstakes marketer. Earlier in the month, there's a company called AppSumo, and what they do is they offer software packages and apps at a discount. So if companies are having a sale, they'll post them on AppSumo. So it started with SocialBee, which is a social sharing platform, because I currently use Hootsuite, but my membership with them is expiring this year and I needed a replacement, and this was a good deal, so I thought I might as well jump on it now. And I got that, and then I realized if I sign up for the AppSumo premium membership, I get King Sumo free, which is the giveaway platform. Plus then Wishpond also had a sale on their giveaway platform. And then there's also Gleam, which I haven't purchased. I'm using their free program. And the reason I wanted to try out using different platforms and what they call like sweepstakes management software is because, one, it stretches me as a marketer. Two, it gives you guys a chance to try entering on different widgets. So when I embed it into my blog post, that's called a widget. It gives you practice on entering different things. So we're both learning. Win-win, you know I love that. And I found Rafflecopter, which I have been, a fan of for years. I was actually talking to the developers of Rafflecopter before it even launched. That's how long I've known the developers and the original team that developed Rafflecopter. Because before something like Rafflecopter came along, blog contests were very, very painful to enter. And then Rafflecopter changed the game, but things have evolved. And so I had Wishpond, I had King Sumo, I had Gleam, and then I used Rafflecopter. So I used all four and I mixed them all up. And then I tried some of the different applications and I added in sharing and I tried the different templates they had. So you'll notice if you'd entered every day, you'd notice that some of them looked a little different. And I learned some things about the back end of them, which was interesting. And then, so here's what I discovered. I'm not as crazy about Wishpond as I would have liked. And the reason is when I just did the straight, plain entry form, it was fantastic. However, what I don't like as a marketer is it only allows me to draw one name within the platform. So if I wanted to draw 5 names or 3 names, I had to export the file and then into an Excel spreadsheet, go to random.org, go through and export them that way. The other thing that I didn't like is when I did that, if I used a, what did they call that? A referral, like a bonus entry widget, it may give them in the back end if I'm using their widget to draw from, but when I did the export, it didn't award the extra entries. So I was like, Now, if I was just an entrance, I wouldn't have known that. And actually, as a marketer, until I actually did it and tried it and was looking at all the different data, I didn't know it either. So when you're entering sweepstakes, I want you to look sometimes at the bottom of you'll get familiar with the formats. The big ones are WooBox and Gleam. Those are the 2 most common ones I see. But you can tell a lot of times people don't pay for what they call white label. So you will see the widget brand on the bottom and you'll know. So you may, depending on how it's open to people, you may or may not want to even bother sharing. I'm not sure. You're going to have to make that judgment when you're entering. Actually, the one I liked the best, I have to say, was the King Sumo, because it allowed me to, if I said I'm having 5 prizes, it would draw 5 names. And then if I had somebody that didn't respond within the allotted time, so I had to redraw, and it was very easy for me to redraw a new name. So I really did like that on that widget. I really did like that a lot. So I was happy with that. Wishpond, show. I meant to put up. Which one was the one that does not use the shares entries? Well, here's the problem. I have to call them. It was Wishpond. Now, however, if I'm having 1 prize and I did the share entries, or I just kept redrawing the names within the widget, it may award all the entries. It was only when I exported the file that it didn't show them. So I actually do need to have a tech support call with Wishpond and ask them that question about the back end of their software, because I'm not sure. This is where things are a little odd. Also, I wasn't happy with Wishpond because I made a mistake on one of them and I didn't put the end date properly on the sweepstakes. It's easy to make. I'm learning the new package. I'm checking all the ins and outs. So it was easy for me to stop the draw. Like all I had to do was export the file and just draw from the names within the contest entry period. That wasn't a big deal. However, I said, well, can I go in and update the, so I was on tech support with Wishpond and I'm like, hey, can I go in and update the end date? Like, let me go in and fix it. Once it starts, I can't fix it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So instead of showing it ending, the widget, I had to actually just delete the code off the blog. And then once it ends, I put it back and it'll say this contest is ended. But I have to wait till the timer runs out on it. It won't let me go back in and adjust it. And I'm thinking, well, that's not cool. I can't, there's no editing. Not cool. Okay, so someone on TikTok asked, what are good sites for contests? It seems like all of the pre-COVID sites are not as good. Actually, that's not true. There's a lot of them. If you go to my website and click on resources, and then you can pick find a contest or find a sweepstakes, depending on which country you're in. You can go through and click on sweepstakes aggregates or contest aggregates or newsletters. And for example, Sweepsheet celebrated their 31st anniversary this year. So they have been around for a long time. The newest one is Sweepstakes. They're sweepstakes fanatics. Some of my sponsors were I Win contests. They were pre-COVID. Tom is doing well. Sweepstakes fanatic was around pre-COVID. When did Sweepstakes launch? Did Carl launch that just before COVID or not? But it's pretty new. There's Red Flag Deals in Canada, which has been around for, I was interviewing those guys for my first book, so maybe 2003. Yeah, they've been around almost 20 years. Contest Girl has been around almost that long. So there's lots of good sites. Here's what I recommend. If you're new to the hobby, go and poke around at all the different sites and check them out and see what format you like. When you find a format that you like and you're happy with it, that's when you're having fun. That's when you're going to win. The minute it feels like work, stop. Now, remember, though, there is a learning curve to when you're winning. When you begin winning. So you have to be a little bit patient because it takes, if you and I sat down to enter sweepstakes for an hour, I'd probably enter twice as many as you if you're brand new, because I've been doing it for 20 years. So I'm really comfortable and I can go through it faster. So you have to give yourself a little patience as you ramp up. But just like I was learning all the new sweepstakes widgets, it took me a lot longer to set some of them up than I thought. I didn't get any writing for any of the books done when I was running this 20 days of giveaways, because it took me so long to set. It took me a lot longer. And then, of course, I had to make videos and I was doing posts and I had to create all the graphics. It all took me way longer than I thought. So at least I have another 4 years before I have to do it again for another 20 days of giveaways. When I celebrate my 20 years of running, teaching sweepstakes. Anyway, that's just funny. So yeah, just give yourself some chance. Let's see. Congratulations. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's weird. I have one of these memories, I am so jealous of people that say to me, oh my gosh, I remember my third grade teacher and so sat beside me and, this person, or they all have their class picture from grade 5 and they can name every kid in it. And I don't have that kind of a memory, but for some reason, this is one memory I do have is I know the day I started entering sweepstakes as a hobby. Now, I had been entering. If you've read my books, I do tell the story about when I was 14 and the DJ was, fourth caller through, and I'm aging myself. I had a rotary dial phone and I'm calling into the radio station and I won the tickets and my mom had to go to the radio station to pick them up because I was, too little. And then her and I went to the concert together. I remember, I felt so grown up because I wore a dress and I had my hair, I had short cropped hair. Actually, my daughter's funny. She's 19. She looks just like I did when I was her age. I was 14 when I went up, but she has the same croppy style. And I had this dress on and I had like grown up shoes on. And we went to the concert and I felt so, big. And it's funny because then almost 25 years later, I went to the same show in the same theater and sat almost in the same place. It was kind of cool. And I had won that too. Actually, a friend had won the tickets and he gave them to me and we went. So it was kind of a win. So I have to, like I said, I have to call Wishpond to ask them some questions about the back end of their software. Gleam is good, except I was learning that their editions, you're limited to the number of editions on the free plan. Of course, that's how they get you, right? If you want to use all the options, you have to pay for the plan. But I also discovered you have to toggle them as you're filling them in. And I didn't know that, or I hadn't figured out the system. And so I had replicated one, and then I didn't realize I hadn't toggled something. And so then I get an email. Hey, day 6 is saying the same thing as day 5 or whatever it was. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to change that. So this is why if you find a mistake in a sweepstakes, be kind and just let the company know, because it's just a person setting it up, and it's easy to make a mistake when you're setting these things up. There's so many bells and whistles and so many pages. Like if you saw me design one on Gleam, there's like 7 tabs you have to go through, and then there's like, I don't know, sometimes there's 2, 3, 5, 10 different options on each page, and you have to go through each one, and it's so easy to miss one, or it's so easy to make a typo. So just have a little patience. If somebody's made a mistake in a contest, just message the company and just let them know, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but there's this here. And like I said, and sometimes I'm testing, like I said, I'm testing Wishpond. I can't even go fix it, which is a little mortifying that I can't even fix it. So that's what's been going on. So I hope you guys have been having fun trying out all the different widgets. So I figure it's a good learning practice for you. It's a good learning practice for me. And then also when I have clients that say to me, hey, we want to run a contest, I'll say, well, what do you want to do? Here's my recommendations. I know because I've tried it. Oh, see, look. I had a company give me a full product because I let them know of an error. See? They really appreciate it. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. If you find something wrong, just let them know. Hey, I love this. This is what's going on. I noticed this. You might want to go fix it if possible. It's always good. So what else have you... Now, today was the last day for Canada Dry in my area. And I just did a video on this. I posted it on TikTok and YouTube. I hadn't really, and I posted it, on my stories. But can you tell the difference? Now, I don't want my camera to go out of focus, and there's for TikTok. This one has wider ribbing than this one. I don't know if you can see that. So this is the Canada Dry. This is the Pepsi. And what happened was on the last day, so Pepsi was originally supposed to end August 7th. And I made sure I used up every single code I had. And I had even checked the rules that morning. Because I stopped by a pin code hunting buddy and I was trading him some Pepsi codes for some monster tabs. Feels like a kid, right? Got him, need him, got him. And he said, oh, it finishes at noon. I said, no, I'm pretty sure it ends at midnight. And that was like 9 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday. So we checked the rules and it said it ended that day at midnight. Sometime between when I had checked those rules and midnight, Pepsi extended the contest. So I was having coffee on the Sunday morning and someone in one of the contest groups I belong to said, hey, look what I just won in Pepsi. I'm like, what? I don't have any codes to enter. So I turn around and I go look, and sure enough, they'd extended it 2 weeks. They added a bunch of prizes, mostly coupons. Crazy. And so I had gone through. Now, when I come home from pin cone hunting, I have a little basket. I just put everything away, so I don't have it. But if you go watch the video, you can see it. I have a little basket that I use, and I have a little bag. And I separate the Canada Dry from the Pepsi to make it easy for me to find the codes for what I'm entering. And I'm not just digging through. So when Pepsi was ending on the 21st, I kind of looked through the basket of Canada Dry to see if anybody had jumped or dropped. I couldn't find any. I thought, okay, good. So today was, as it was the last day of the Canada Dry, I'm entering all the codes and I enter one and it's not accepting. I'm like, what the heck? And I look and I went, oh, it's a Pepsi code. Like, oh no, this is the way my brain works. Was this the $10,000 winner that I didn't enter? Was this the trip to Whistler that I didn't enter? I'll never know, right? It's one more chance to win. I don't know. It's gone. It's finished. Oh, there's nothing worse. That's such a feeling. And then I didn't win anything else in the Canada Dry. I was really hoping to hit one more biggie prize, but I didn't. that's okay. I had a lot of fun, and it was good. And I've decided that since the gyms aren't offering full capacity yet, and the weather is still nice, and it's so good to get outside and have some fresh air, I'm going to continue to pin code hunt until probably the end of September, because there's still, believe it or not, there's still things to look for. And I have to check the dates on some of them. I'm not sure when Nutella ends. I'll have to look that one up. So that's a possibility. The beer contest. Now, something else I want to talk about while I'm here, which I found very fascinating. There's several beer promotions still going on, so might as well be looking for those. And then Post Cereals for us is they're giving away NBA prizes, so I've still that to look for. And when the weather started to get a bit warmer, and I was out in March a couple of days, and then I was out in April, there was really nothing to look for at that time, but it was just so nice to get up and get out and get moving and have fresh air. And I did notice a difference in how I felt, and I did notice a difference in my productivity and my energy. So even if I came home with like one code, it was still worth it to me, because I was getting so many other benefits. I listen to podcasts and online classes when I walk, which I think is great. So that's what I'm going to continue doing that for a while. So we'll see what I find. You never know. Okay, so we have a good question here. Leanne says, how does one address a company about a contest that is won back in February? Ooh. And the first prize never showed, and they told me they'd ship it. Another one, still nothing. Message in July 27, no reply. That's tricky. So there's a couple of different things. If you're dealing with the agency that the sponsor hired, you may have a little more luck, because now you can go to the sponsor and say, hey, I won this contest that you guys sponsored back in, and the agency I'm dealing with is not doing a good job. I'm a little concerned because it's your reputation on the line, and I haven't got my prize, and I'm a little upset. And I think, you guys should be made aware of this, because you're paying this agency to run this promotion, and they're not doing their job. So neither of us is getting any benefit here. What can we do to resolve it? So that's the first thing you can do. If it's a smaller company and they're running it themselves, you might have an opportunity to escalate it to somebody higher up. If it's a very small company like me, and I mail out a prize and another shows up, then message me and I'll see if I can, what I can do to replace it. Because I don't put any tracking. I just use Canada Post. I just use the post office because it's the cheapest. It would be it's all coming out of my own pocket. This is my marketing budget, which isn't huge. So, I try and replace it. I haven't ever really had any problems. Once, I think I've been sending out prizes since 2005, and I've probably had maybe 3 go missing in almost 20 years. So I'm not really concerned about, putting tracking on them. So that's what I do. The other option is, also find out who you're dealing with and see if you can go up. Poop rolls downhill. So for example, there was a lady who won from a large grocery company. This was years ago. She messaged me and she'd won like $5,000, and months went by. She was trying to talk to this woman. Nothing. I said, just message the vice president of marketing. Go on LinkedIn, find out who the vice president of marketing is, write him a letter, tell him your concerns. Again, tell him this person isn't doing their job. You haven't got the prize. Da, da, da. She said she had the prize in 3 days because the vice president of marketing is now marching over to this person's desk going, why am I getting an email or a letter about you not doing your job? Boom. Problem solved. So you have to do that. I like using LinkedIn. So if you're looking for a certain role in a company, you type the company name and vice president of marketing, or something like that, and see if you can figure it out that way. We had a Pepsi. We won from Gatorade 2 years ago, and the prize went missing. We never got it. So we messaged the company. We don't hear anything. So I could figure out from the rules that it was an agency. Clearly, Gatorade's not running their own promotion. And I know from past experience how agencies work is there's an account manager assigned to each client. So there would be an account manager assigned to the Gatorade account. So what I started doing was I basically figured out who the agency was, Googled the agency and account manager, and started contacting all of them, asking them who had the Gatorade account. Finally, I got an email back from somebody saying that they had shipped it. And I'm like, I never got it. So they finally put a claim in at their end. And then I got a call from Canada Post. And I guess they thought we might be scamming them. Like we got the prize and we're, this fairly expensive box and we're not telling them. So the poor guy that called me said, hey, we're calling about the package. I said, are you calling about this package from this company? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I ripped the poor man a new one. I'm like, where is that package? Where have you lost it? Why haven't we got it? Da, 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 da. He's like, okay, so she definitely doesn't have it. Well, that was like on a Thursday, I got a call from Canada Post. And then on the Friday, we had gone out. We had won tickets to something. So we got home like at 1 o'clock in the morning. There was a big box on our porch that looked like it had been to Timbuktu and back. Totally. I can't believe nothing inside was damaged. I should have taken pictures of it and sent it to them. But because the contents were fine, I guess I wasn't worried. And we finally got it. So clearly, Canada Post had lost it and didn't want to admit to the agency that they had lost this prize. So sometimes you can sit on it and eventually get it. But I wasn't going to let it go. It was a really good prize pack. And we're on our last case of, we won our supply of Gatorade. And we're on our last case. It was more than a year here. Okay. So I hope that helps. I know it's tough. Yeah, I had a win like that. I messaged them, said I knew there were backups in shipping. I just wanted to see if they had a possibility to send it out so I knew I could keep it out for it. I got my prize within a couple of weeks. So sometimes that will happen. Yeah, I had a big one like that. Big company, one in December, still nothing. I think I gave up at this point. Oh, I hate that. I almost want to say, I know it's August, but go up the chain and see if you can't get it. I mean, if it was really small, like I've probably had a handful of prizes I never got, but I remember one was like a fabric laptop bag that wasn't even worth that much. I think it might have been worth $20, $30. And I'm like, I'm not chasing it for $30. But if it's, a really decent prize, yeah, I'm going to sit on them. Yeah, it's the company themselves who had and they'd been very polite when messaging them. I see that they saw the post with no reply. Yeah, I know. And public shaming isn't always the best way to go when you're dealing with companies. Depends. If it's a small size company, maybe you can contact the owner and say, hey, I appreciate this, but it just seems a little bit, not cool. Okay. So Patty has a question about ARV, which stands for, somebody says approximate retail value or actual retail value. It should be actual, but you may hear different definitions. Me and my one and only win this year from Disney. It's a trip with a value of $10,000. The tax would be pretty high if the $10,000 is accurate. I keep figuring any help in figuring out the cost value of the trip. Okay, so what you do is you get a breakdown from them. Usually there is a breakdown of everything the trip includes, hotel, airfare, Disney passes, whatever. So you can go line item by line item and, call a travel agency or just do some searches online and find out how much is airfare for 4 on these dates around when you want to go for a family of 4 from California say you're going from New York to Florida, I don't know, or Chicago to Florida, pick a place, right? And then kind of write down that cost, and then figure out, call the resort and say, hey, figure out what, the room for, I don't know, say 5 days, 4 nights is at that hotel. And then, what are airport transfers worth? And you can just kind of start to figure out, what are park passes worth? Is there any spending money included? Things like that. And you can kind of figure it out. You can ask them for a reduced 1099, or you can keep like screen grabs and things like that and submit a lower amount with the your taxes. But then, I assume you can ask. But yeah, it does reduce. But it's still, but the taxes are also, the percentage of tax you're going to pay on a price like that depends on your income. So if you have a very low income, you're going to pay less tax than someone that has a very high income. Does that make sense? Okay. So those are the few things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to make sure I talked about the widgets. So we got all those questions, and I don't see any other questions on TikTok. Let's see. They said they would not change it. No food. No food, no ground transportation. So then your only option then is to take screen grabs and whatnot. And then when you submit your taxes, submit the amount. So say you calculate everything out and it's $8,000, not $10,000. I don't know. I'm just making a number up. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but you get the idea. This is an example anyway. And you figure out it's $8,000. So when you submit your taxes, you submit $8,000, and talk to your accountant or ask a tax expert, because this is where I'm not. I know you can get an you can get an adjustment of some kind, and I'm not sure what it is. And of course, every year the tax laws keep changing, so there's a reason I have an accountant, right? Because some things are not my strong suit. So I have an accountant to figure that kind of stuff out, because stuff changes every year. But I'm positive there's a way you can adjust it down to what it really is. So try and figure it out and see. But it's still, I do tell people it is a cheap trip, not a free trip. So it would basically triple your normal travel budget by winning a trip like that, which is still phenomenal. Because we had that when we won the trip to Universal. I extended it, and we added on another park, and we added it on, and George and I were talking about it, and I said, yeah, but for the amount of money we spent, we couldn't afford a trip like this. There's no way, not at the level that we had won. So it was phenomenal. So it really, it tripled our travel budget for what we spent, which was amazing. So yeah. So they said, oh, I left your comment up. Sorry. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely talk to someone and take screen grabs and do some math. You have to work at it a little bit, to make sure that you can reduce it down. So if they won't reduce it, then you can reduce it on your end. On the other hand, you also might discover it's really accurate. So, I'd still figure it out. Because to me, it would be worth it. I would totally go. That's just me. Anyway. So pin code season has finished. I'm going to continue to look for whatever there is just to get fresh air. Then I'll start at the gym. And, you guys got to ramp up, because I know I'm going to say it. It's terrible. We are only 3 months away from Advent season. Right? December, end of Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. And December is the 24 days of giveaways, 12 days of giveaways, and everybody goes crazy. So if you're new to the hobby of sweepstaking, now's actually a good time to learn, because you're going to ramp up to that season. And my goals between now and then, because this 20 days of giveaways, I haven't been doing any writing. So my goal in the next 2 to 3 months, because I don't know when in November, but my goal is to next month have the updated edition of this book published from Helene, because I'm literally almost done. I just have a bit of writing left, and then editing. And then I need to get an author's copy. And then I'm working on the new edition of this, and my goal is to have it out. So basically, you probably won't see a lot of giveaways. I'm just going to do minimal live streams. I'm cutting out any extraneous tasks. Like, I've been a Toastmaster for 15 years. I'm going to just put it on the back burner for a while, because I need to write. That's what I'm going to be doing, sitting here. So I'm really glad I got a new chair and finish that up. Well done on the pin codes. Not here, green bins. Oops. Yay. Yeah, that's one thing. I was talking to Rachel Travis. She's the sweepstakes queen. Actually, so if you're on TikTok, you got to go check out the sweepstakes queen. So I was talking to Rachel, and she wanted to do a business. So she wanted a personal, like I have on TikTok, like, so a personal account for entering and a business account for teaching, like I do. And she was talking about what her handle should be, because her website is Sweepstakes Masterclass, but it's too long for TikTok. So we were going back and forth on what she could call it. And I said, what about Sweepstakes Queen? And she goes, I can't do that. And I'm like, why not? And so I said, check. So she checked it. It was available. I'm like, take it. She's like, really? I'm like, I told you so. She goes, people think that I'm copying you. I'm like, no, you won't. I'll tell people you're the Sweepstakes Queen. She's like, okay. So, there's a lot of us out there. There's so many teachers. Actually, that is a big thing that I'm putting in the new book, is I have a whole chapter on winning resources, and I'm featuring all the other teachers out there, because this hobby is so vast and it's changing so rapidly, and there's so much to learn that, all boats rise with the tide. And I learn from them and they learn from me, and I think it's fantastic. What day are you posting the winners for your giveaways? Well, I've been posting them as I'm getting them up. So if you go to, for example, to day 1 on the blog, the winners are already posted there. I'm really behind on the drawings. So I'm doing, like, this is my crazy, I'm showing you my crazy spreadsheet. Like, this is how I'm tracking all the wins. And then I haven't done day 14. Like, so day 14 and day 15 have finished. I haven't done the drawings yet. I'm way behind. It's a lot longer process, because you have to do the drawings, and then you have to do the forms, and then you have to do the emails, and then you have to send them out, and then you have to give people 3 days to get back to you. And then it's like, oh no. Oh, and then I did it every day for 20 days. I was like, what was I thinking? So as I've gotten them, I've been posting the names. So if you go, and I've been posting them in the same spot. So between, I think it's around, like, just before the rules, it'll say, I added a line on the blog post, and it'll say winners, because I discovered not every widget is posting the names. So Rafflecopter, if I say post the names, they'll post the names. But Wishpond doesn't seem to do that. It just says ended. So I'm like, oh, I have to put the winners. So if you haven't got an email for me, then you didn't win. It's pretty simple. But there's still a chance to win, because I still have to draw for day 14 and 15. Day 16 will be tomorrow, because let's face it, it's 8:30 in the evening. I'm not doing more drawings tonight. So there's 3 days I'm drawing, and then I have 4 more days. So it's catching up. Like, I already have a stack of prizes to go out, and I have, like, stacks. I was working on envelopes. I literally have stacks of prizes. to go out. And this isn't even all of them. I know you can't see me, right? That's not all of them. So, yeah, there's a lot to be won. So there's still chances to win. I find between 500. Well, I don't know each day because each sweepstakes, I made it open for 5 days. And I did that on purpose because I know it's kind of like, oh, day 1, day 2, day 3. But the problem is with some of the platforms and the algorithms, by the time you may see my Instagram post or my TikTok or a Facebook post or get my email, a day or two has passed and then you've missed it. So I leave them open for 5 days to give people a chance to find it and enter. So I've been having somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people enter the whole promotion. So I don't look at the analytics for each day. One, I don't have time, and to me it doesn't matter. As long as I've reached people, then that's my goal. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, so, and then I look forward to the day that I have like 10 times that. I can teach more people. Because this is going to be my next, that's the other thing that I'm doing different with this book. So in How to Win Cash Card Strips and More, I had a lot of quotes. Like, say, for example, in right here, right? So I had a quote from a book, and I got permissions. That was permissions from Hatchet Book Group. And then I had this one's permissions from, Random House. This one's permissions from, I have so many different places, right? And a lot of those places would only give me permission for Canada and US. And the problem is when I'm teaching with Helene's book, right? And I say, if you want to learn the modern methods of sweepstaking, buy How to Win Cash Card Strips and More, because the other book's not done yet. I'm selling this book all over the world. So if you're in England, well, you can buy Lucky Die's book, but, if you're in Germany, you can't buy my other book. It's not available. So what I'm doing is anything that required only North American, like Canada and US permissions, I've ripped out of the book. So everything that I'm quoting in this current book, I've made sure that I have global rights. So my next book is going to be available all over the world. And I think that's going to make a difference for people that want to learn. So for example, if somebody knows of another one, let me know. The only global aggregate that I know of is Contest Chest. And they have like every country you can think of listed for their sweepstakes. Now, some countries don't have a lot of promotions, but it seems that it is a global hobby. Everybody loves giveaways. It's a great marketing strategy. I'm a little biased. Cher says, I wrote a sponsor for you to help you get your prize. I wasn't able to tag you up there. So yeah, that's the other thing. I love contesters are helping each other, and I'm not sure why you couldn't tag her. Let me see. Was she on YouTube and you're on Facebook? No, everybody's on Facebook today. Oh, wait. No, everybody seems to be, only one person's on YouTube answering. Everybody else is on Facebook. Yeah, because I'm doing my giveaway on Facebook. It's just easier because I'm on 4 platforms right now and it's impossible for me. There's no widget that will allow me to pull entries from 4 different places. It doesn't exist. You can have a specific thing. Like, so for example, I was talking to one of the companies and I'm like, hey, I got a client that wants to do a hashtag contest. Well, the hashtag contests only work on Twitter and Instagram. They can't do it on Facebook. If they want to do it on Facebook, they have to create a special post, and then every comment under that post has to use that hashtag. But you can't call hashtags from Facebook posts like you can Instagram and Twitter. So Sharon, we have a rogue. Sharon says I'm watching from YouTube, not Facebook. Yay. That's fun. Yeah, I love it. But that's why I chose to only do the giveaway on Facebook, because I find it too difficult to do a drawing. I've tried it in the past and it's too hard. And I want to be fair to everybody, right? I want to give everybody an even chance to win. So I decided it's easier if I put it in one place and then it's fair for everybody, because then it's one place and it's funneled down. And when I do the drawing, I know it's legitimate, and I haven't left anybody out, and it didn't, I didn't make a mistake by not pulling from somewhere, something like that. So that's why I make that choice, because I want to be fair to everybody. Hello, I like the win-win. That's my gig, I guess, or what do you call it? Anyway, I think that's it for now. We don't seem to have a lot of other questions for this one. So what's going on this month? We have, go to my events tab on my website. Now, of course, it's August, so it won't flip over till Wednesday. But go see when we're having the events. I can't remember when the second meeting in September is. I think it's the 13th, but I could be wrong. So we have a meeting on September 2nd, which is Thursday night. And on, I think it's September 11th, we're doing a 10-day miracle challenge, because someone in the Good Vibrations. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The Good Vibration Sweepstakes Club. I haven't done one in a while because I've been busy doing other things. So we're going to have a 10-day miracle challenge in there. It's absolutely free to join. And we've passed 1,000 followers. Yeah, members of the group. So I'm going to have a special giveaway in there too, but I said we passed it while I'm doing all these giveaways. I'm like, okay, I have no bandwidth for this. We'll have to do it after. So I'll look to do something for maybe Wednesday in there to pre-promote, and also pre-promote the 10-day miracle challenge in August or September, which is, I think it's September 11th. Did I pick the 11th? The 10th? It's a Saturday. I don't know what Saturday is. Anyway, it's going to be fun. Yes, thank you, Bill. It's September 2nd for the first one and September 13th for the second one. And I try to mix up the dates so that, if you're always busy on a Monday, then you can come to a Thursday meeting or a Tuesday meeting. If you're always busy on Thursdays, you can come to, a Wednesday meeting or a Sunday meeting. Like, I try and move the dates around and the times. I will do one much later, because I've had some people on the far West Coast say 7:30 is too difficult for them. So at one point I will do a later meeting so we can get more West Coast people, to be a little fair for them. So like I said, I try and, mix it up and accommodate different people. So it'll be fun. Is there any last minute questions before I wrap up? No. Going once, going twice. Sold to nobody. Well, anyway, that was great. I always host these sweepstakes Q&As, and this was a little bit of a sweepstakes Q&A / sweepstakes chat, because I did one at the beginning of this 10-day giveaway, 20-day giveaway, which I normally don't do mid-month. And so it's always the last Monday of the month. And then also go follow. I'm adding this tip in the book because I realized I hadn't added it in. Go follow all your aggregates and all your teachers out there, because a lot of them do different things on social media. Tom hosts of I Win Contest, hosts live on Facebook. Carl from Sweeps Atlas does classes on YouTube. I think if you're a member of, I think Rachel does Instagram lives. Like they're all teaching in different ways on different platforms. So make sure you're following all your aggregates and all your teachers out there on all their socials, and make sure you sign up for their notifications if they go live. And I think on Facebook they still have see first. Like make sure you're aware of when they're doing things. Like I think it's on YouTube, you hit the little notification bell. I get it on Instagram, that kind of a thing. Oh, thanks, Bill. Bill posted the link in the chat. Thank you very much, Bill. So yeah, go follow all your teachers, because Carl, I listen to Carl. Sometimes we don't talk to each other. I'm like, we should have a master calendar. So all the teachers don't do stuff, because I remember one night I had one, Carl had one. I'm like, no, we're going to need 2 screens. And Tom and I have done the same thing. I've messaged him. I'm like, dude, we should talk before we book stuff, so that he can teach and I can teach and everyone can come to both. But last week, Carl did one and I was available. I was able to watch him live on YouTube. It was so fun to watch another teacher. And I always learn stuff. There's crazy amounts of things to learn in this hobby. And it's always improving, which is why I love it. This hobby's been around since the early 1900s. So it did take a bit of a ding with COVID. I imagine it did take a bit of a ding with the Spanish flu too. But it's not going anywhere. It's been going strong for over 120 years, and it's going to be around for a while. It's only gotten bigger and more complex, and it's really fun to learn. So I will see you guys on Thursday at the club meeting if you've signed up. Otherwise, I'll meet you guys back here in 1 month. And in the meantime, if you have questions or want to learn, message me. You know where to find me. Bye for now.